Okay, there we go. So my name is Sarah Patterson, and I work in the Department of Technology and Enhanced Learning here in MTU. And this morning's session is called Real-Time Student Engagement and Polling, Getting Started with MTU's Vevox platform. So Vevox is a tool we have here in MTU. We piloted it for about a year and a half, and now we have it mainstreamed. So I'll just go over what I'm going to be covering today before I get into it. So first thing I'll cover, obviously, is what Vevox is and how you can use it. And then I'll go straight into a demo on how to use it. So I'll be showing you how to create a Vevox session and the settings on it. I'll show you how to create a live poll or a quiz. I'll show you how to create an asynchronous survey or quiz. A new feature in Vevox that, if anybody's used it before, might not have seen that came out over the summer is that you can now add presentation content to Vevox. Show you how to use the Q&A feature, how to view session results, and how to use Vevox in Canvas as well. And then at the end, I'm going to go over the supports that we have for Vevox. So we have a new online Canvas course that I'll send you a link to that you can use that has videos on it. And we also have help articles as well. And Vevox themselves have some supports too. So next, what is Vevox? So Vevox is a audience response tool that MTU staff can use for things like live polling, quizzes, Q&As, surveys, and they can be live or asynchronous. So when I say asynchronous, I mean on demand. So you can do something live where people are seeing what answers come up in real time, or you can do something asynchronous where people can take these surveys or quizzes in their own time. You can use Vevox with your students, but you can also use them for events. So if you're holding a college event, you could use Vevox, or you could even use it in a team meeting as well. Vevox can be used on the Vevox website, which I'll be going through in a moment, or it can be used in Canvas as well. And we suggest that you use it in Canvas for asynchronous things like quizzes or surveys. I'll move on to some example use cases of Vevox. So, as I mentioned, Vevox can be used in online classes or events. So you can just see in this picture, somebody's using it in Zoom. And you can link people to the Vevox and then they can take polls or quizzes and then you can share your screen and show the results as they come up. Um, Similarly, you could use Vevox in a face-to-face class or event. So you could have a projector or a screen in the room that's showing the Vevox polls and then people can join by scanning a QR code or they can go to vevox.app, which is a website, and then type in an ID. You might see there on the screen small. That's how people will join, and you'll see what that looks like a bit later. And similarly, that means that you could have something that's hybrid. So you could have people in the room joining the Viva section, but also people at home being able to join at the same time. So that's really handy. So just some other use cases here. We've got in-class polls, formative assessment activities, on-demand surveys, Q&A for virtual meetings or Q&A for hybrid meetings. So there's a lot of things you can do with Vevox. And I'm going to switch to the demo now. So I'm going to show you how Vevox works. So I'm just going to exit out of my PowerPoint. Oh, and I forgot to say at the start, if you have any questions as I'm going along, you can add them in the Q&A tab. Also, there I won't be able to cover absolutely everything that you can do with Vevox because there's so much, but our supports have a lot of the stuff on it, and I'll be covering the main things with Vevox today. So let me just go into my there we go. Here we go. So I'm going to open in the Vevox page. So it's, am I still sharing? Hold on. Yeah, I'm still sharing. So mtu.vevox.com is where you need to go to access Vevox. And if you've used Vevox before, you might notice this looks a little different. And that's because we've set, over the summer, we set Vevox off with single sign-on. And single sign-on basically is how we sign in to things like Canvas or Outlook. You know, when you sign into those things, it's all the same kind of way. That means that you don't have to ask the TL department for a Vevox account anymore. You literally just click on the page, log in with SSO, and as long as you have an MTU staff account, you can access Vevox now without us having to set it up an account for you. It also means that if you're using Canvas and you want to add Vevox to your Canvas, it will be linked with the same account that you use here. So we'll have all the same sessions and settings that you had there that you can then use in Canvas. So that's really handy. It's all integrated together, if you get me. So to access Vevox, so you're going to mtu.vevox.com and then just click login with SSO and it's going to log you in. So it's logging me in automatically without having to put in details. And that's because I'm already logged into Canvas here, as you can see. If you weren't logged into anything else, it might prompt you to log in like you would to Canvas or Outlook or other tools like that. And this is what your Vevox homepage will look like. You can see here there's a bunch of sessions already. These are all sessions that I've made myself. So you can access all your sessions here. But I'm going to show you how to create a new session. So one moment. So to create a new session, you just click create session here. And then you can give the session a name. So I'm just going to call it training session. And then click create. And then now it's opened this session for me. You can see the session name up here and it's got an ID as well. And you'll also notice it says that the session is inactive. So if I was to share the QR code, you can see it little there with people, they wouldn't be able to access anything in it, even if there was something, until I'm ready to click start session. And you'll see what that looks like a bit later. So what I'll do before I show you how to make a poll or anything like that is I'll show you the different settings that are in Vevox sessions. So it's just this settings tab here. If you click that, you'll see there are, I think, 8 tabs here, and I'm just going to go over the main things on those tabs. So the first tab here is session setup. So that's your session name. So you can change that if you want to. You could also change the scheduled date. Now, you don't actually have to run the Vevox session on this exact time. It basically just displays that time on the participant app or on their, when the participants go to join, they'll see that time is written there, but you can do it at any time. You can turn on or off the profanity filter for polls and Q&A. And then on the polls tab, there are a bunch of settings. So you can have it so that it displays results real time. And that would mean if people answer a quiz question or a poll, that their answers will appear on the screen immediately without you clicking a button to show them. Or if you have that off, you have to click a button to show them, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. Also display result on poll close, so that automatically closes the poll result when the poll closes rather than having to click on something as well. So I'll just keep that as it is. You could change how the voting results are shown. So it could be by percentage or number or both. And then there's also stuff on countdown timers. So this is useful maybe if you're doing a quiz and you want to hurry people up to answer the question within a certain time. You can add in a countdown timer as well. If I go to the Q&A tab here, so there's a Q&A message board can be on any session. But if maybe you're doing a poll and you don't want people to do the Q&A, or you're doing a quiz and you don't want to use the Q&A, you might want to turn it off. So you can just click here and turn off that Q&A. I'll just keep it on for now. And also just moderation. So we do suggest that if you're doing Q&As, you have moderation turned on, and that means that when people ask questions, it won't immediately display on the screen. You'll have to vet them before they go on the screen. So I'll just click that. You can also select downvote, so you can allow people to downvote other people's questions if you want, but I'm not going to do that for this. Next tab is participant identification. So you can have it so people are anonymous or identified during the Vevox session. So you probably won't want to use anonymous a lot of the time because maybe people are a little bit more confident to ask questions if they're anonymous or engage when they're anonymous. But maybe if you're doing like a quiz where you want your students to compete against each other, you might want to use identified, and then people can put in their names, and then you have a leaderboard and things like that. So it depends how you want to use it. I'm going to keep it anonymous. You could also, for additional security, add a passcode if you want to the session, and then tell people in the class what the passcode is. We've got app customization as well. So you can change the picture that comes up when people join the session. Just here, just click here and you can change that picture. You can also change the text that comes up. So I'm just going to say training test session today. Welcome to this session. And I'll show you what that looks like in a moment when we show the participant view. You can also change the colors as well. So maybe if you're doing an event, a specific event, you might want to change some of this stuff here. Similarly for the present view, so this is what you'd be using on your own machine or on the screen, not on the participant's machine. You can change that. So you could change the logo, the background as well, and the colors there as well. And you can choose whether to show the join instructions, QR code, or response count as well. So you can turn that on or off if you want as well. And you'll see those things when I get to that point to show you. Then finally, sharing. So you can add co-hosts to your session. So maybe you're doing a big event and there's going to be a Q&A in it, and you want to focus on presenting and answering the questions during the event, but maybe you'll have a colleague then who in the background is going through the questions and vetting them and then displaying them. All you have to do to add that colleague to the session where they can control everything, they control what appears on the screen, is to just click into the add co-hosts. And as long as that colleague has signed into Vevox before, you should be able to find them. Just type in their name there, and then you can add them as a co-host to the session. We don't have any integrations with Vevox at the moment, so I'll just ignore that one. But that's basically all of the settings that you need to know about for now anyway. So now what we're going to do is show you how to create a live poll. So you can see here, there's a polls tab here, and you have two options here. We've got add content or question library. So you generally be using add content, but I'll just show you what question library is. So here in question library, there's a bunch of like template questions that you can use. So it's kind of good for maybe icebreakers or things like that. So if I click icebreaker even, I can select questions from here. So we've got a one, where are you joining from today? Put that one in. So I'll click here, and that's going to be a pin on image question. And then I just click add question. So it's kind of cool that you're able to do that without having to write it at all. So if you're just trying to find some sort of icebreaker thing, you could add it from there. Then I can just click add content and go to question library again, just to show you as well. It'll show you previous questions that you've used. So if you've used questions in other sessions, they'll become up under previous questions. So my previous questions, and you can select them and add them in. So that's really handy for setting up quizzes or surveys as well. So maybe if you're turning a poll into a survey, you can easily just find those questions and add them in and reuse them without having to type them out again. So that's handy. So I might put in one of those as well. So if I just click one of here, I'm going to put in what is the capital of France. And now that's added in as well. And then I'm going to add in one of my own now. So let's click add content, and you'll see there's a bunch of question types. So we've got multiple choice, word cloud, text, ranking, numeric, rating scale, XY plot, pin on image, and demographic as well. So I'm just going to show you how to do a multiple choice one as an example. So we'll click multiple choice. Let me just think of a question. Let's say, how, let's see, what is the capital of, think of a country, Italy. And then you need to provide at least two choices. So I'm going to put in a few answers, possible answers here. So we've got Bologna, Rome, which is the correct answer, Sicily, and Florence. And if I was to leave that and not select the correct answer, then it would just be a poll, and then you just see how people answer on the poll. But since it is a quiz question, I'm going to select Rome as the correct answer, and I can add in a explanation if I want. If you have a question where there could be multiple answers, where people could select multiple answers, you can change the amount of answers that they can select from. So since there are 4 answers that I put in here, it's 1 to 4 here. So you can do that. And then when you're happy with the question, you can just click create and that will appear there. So then I'll just show you what that looks like if you're presenting it. So you can see this little screen here. I'm going to show you what it looks like as a full screen, but that's the presenter view that you'll be showing to participants or students, whoever you're showing it to. So if I just click open present view in a new tab, this is what it looks like. And so you see the session still hasn't started. So even though I've made all this stuff here, it's not going to show to people in that till I start the session. But you'll see here, so we've got the join instructions that I mentioned in the settings. So people can go to vevox.app and people on the call now can go to it if they want to, just see what that looks like. And go to 1279 and type in 127943895. Or you can scan the QR code so you can make it bigger for people to see as well, and they can scan the QR code on their phone and then join the session. And if you're actually joining online for a session, and I can do this in this session as well, you can share it with people by copying the app link. So I'm going to copy the link and also open it to show you what it looks like as if you're a participant. And that's what it looks like. And I'm going to post this in the chat if anybody wants to join that as well. So one moment, I'll post it in the chat. There we go. So I'm ready to start the session. So what I'll do is I'll start it from here actually, and I'll click start session. And you'll see because the Q&A is turned on, there's please submit questions. And because it's moderated, it says that. But I want to go straight into my polls. So I'm going to click open poll for the first one. And then there's a where are you joining from today question that I added in, and you can select where you're joining from. So what I'll do is I'll act as a participant here and I'll pick one. So obviously I'm in Cork here, very small, but I'm going to click it and then click send. And then you can see that 1 out of 4 people have answered. Now we've got 2 here. And as people answer, this number will go up. And you can see at the moment, because the way it was set, it's not showing who's answered yet. But when you're ready to display all of what people have answered, you can click show results here. You see, so 1 person clicked down here, but we've got 3 up here as well. And then once you're happy with enough people have filled out the poll and you want to move on, you can just click close poll and then move on to the next one. So we've got what is the capital of France here. And again, I'm just going to go into the app and see it's changed to the next question here. And if anybody's joining online, they'll see that it's changed as well. So I'm just going to click Paris here. And then again, I'm going to show the results and we'll see Paris, and we've got 1 Rome here. And this is showing as a bar chart, but I can change to pie chart if I want, depending on what I want to show. And then you can see 6 out of 6 people have filled this out. So I'm ready to close the poll. That closes, and then I can show the correct answer. So we've got correct answer is Paris, and 83.33% of people got it right. I think we have 1 more here. What's the capital of Italy? I'll answer that here as well, so I'll get it wrong this time. And then wait. for everybody to answer. And then I'm going to close that poll. And again, you can show it as a pie chart if you want as well. Got the correct answer here, and you can see here as well, it comes up on your participant app. So if you're on your phone, this will look, more on top of each other on the phone, but since I'm looking at it in the browser, it's side by side. And then I think that's all I have in here. So that's the last one done. What I can also show you, this is a new thing in Vevox, is that you can add presentation content to Vevox now. So what I mean by that is, fortunately, we can't use Vevox within PowerPoint because of security issues, but what you can do is add presentation content into Vevox itself. So while you're going through the polls and stuff, you can add presentation content now. And to do that, it's just in the Add Content button here. You'll see here, there's a presentation content button under non-polling content. So if you click that, you can add text and images here. So if I just do heading, presentation content, and then maybe I want to add in an image, I'm just going to click, this is one I uploaded earlier. So I'll click in that, click save. And I can add in bullet points as well. So bullet, and highlight those. And there's bullet points there. There we go. And now I've got some presentation content that I can show. So if I go back into my present view and next content, there it is. One other cool thing you can do with this. So if I add content again and click presentation content, I can add in a video. So it's just YouTube links that you can use. So I can just go, I have one ready, copy this YouTube link in, paste that in and click OK. Then click create. And then so when I'm going through the polls and everything, I can go to the next thing and show a video. So then I can just play the video as well. And people can watch the video as I'm going through it. So that's handy as well. The next thing I'll show is the Q&A. So if I click Q&A here, and if anybody's still on the app as well, they can test it out by adding in a question if they want to, but I'll test it myself too. So if I just stop this, I'm going to close the content here. So hide results, close that. So then it's ready for the Q&A. You can see I've got the Q&A board turned on, and I think I have the moderation turned on as well. I'll just make sure. Yeah. So I'm going to test it out by writing in a question. So here we have the participant view again. I'm going to type in a question. I'm going to do question 1. Click send. You'll see me as the participant or student. See, it's unpublished, it's not shown, and you'll see in the presenter view, it's not been shown yet either. So if I go in here, we've got needs review. You can see one of you has also added in a question. So I can moderate them by clicking more options and say it's a question that I don't want to answer for whatever reason. I could delete the question here. But if I do want the question to appear to people, I can just click here, and click moved to published. And I'll do this one as well that just came in. Here we go, move to published. And then you'll see it's appearing on the screen. And if you're a participant as well, you can upvote other people's questions. So maybe you're getting a lot of questions coming in and you want to prioritize the questions that are more popular, especially if you're doing an event or something, then you could say, okay, I'll answer the questions with the most upvotes or something like that. So then you can click on the question to highlight it. And then when you're done answering the question, you can just click this little I thing here. It'll remove the question from the list. And then you go to the next one, click the I thing and the same thing. So that's how you use the Q&A. So that's pretty handy as well. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to do asynchronous surveys or quizzes. So this is where you make a survey or a quiz, but people do it in their own time. So you're not using the presenter view at all anymore, where you have to click through the polls and things like that because people are doing it in their own time. So I'll show you how to do that. Click Create New. And then you need to give it a name and a description, especially if people are joining in their own time. They need that. So I'm just going to call it a quiz. You can put a description in there. And I'm just going to click Shuffle Question Order as well. And I'll click Add Question. And similarly, it does have the question library as well. So maybe you just did a poll with your students, but there were some students that couldn't make the live session. You could then make a survey with the exact same questions in it, and add them in. So you can just find them from my previous questions. So you can see here, I'll just add in the one that I did earlier, the what is the capital of Italy? Now that's added in. It's a survey question. And I'm going to add in my own question as well. So I'll add in a pin on image question just to show you what that looks like. So let's click pin on image, and I'm just going to say, click on Cork, because I have a picture of Ireland that you saw earlier. And I'll click add content. And this was uploaded earlier, so I'll just click on that one. And it says here, add a correct answer by clicking and drawing a shape on the image. So if this was a poll like we did with the European, or it was a world map actually, you wouldn't add a correct answer. People could just answer wherever they want. But since this is a quiz question, I'm going to do, so Cork is, I probably won't get it exactly right, but it's somewhere around here. So if anybody clicks around here, we'll say they're correct. And you can put in an explanation if you want as well. And so we've got this question done. So we've got click on Cork, and that's done. Click create. And now you'll see if I go into the app again, nothing is appearing there at the moment, because I have to click start quiz. So I'm going to click that. And now if I open it, there's a new tab come up. That's the quiz tab. Just to note as well that this needs to stay on for as long as you want people to be able to take the quiz, or if it's a survey. So you need to keep this open for as long as people are able to do that. So I'll just click in as a participant again. And we've got, so because I had it shuffled, the last question is first, so I'm just going to click on Cork, and we'll do the capital of Italy is Rome. And because this is asynchronous as well, they get feedback immediately. So if I click submit here, got 2 out of 2 correct as well. And if anybody else is joining in, they might be doing that as well. So that's cool. Before I go into Canvas as well, I'm just going to show you what data looks like. So if I click on data, so your session results and data, click data, and you can see a lot of information about the session. So we've got total participants. We had 6 participants in this session, 6 active, and the amount of interactions as well. And we have 100% participation rate. Then I can download that image if I want to share it with anybody. And I'll show you what that looks like, but it does look exactly like it was there, as you can see. So that's quite cool. And similarly, you can go into poll results, Q&A results, and see that you can download all of these images. And the participants, they were all anonymous, so that's not that useful information. But if you had it that it wasn't anonymous, you'd see the list of people and when they joined, survey results, and then question by question, you can download these as well. If you want even more information, you can download it as an Excel file. So if I download data report here, and then open that up, it'll take a second. And then I've got all the data from that session that we were just doing. So how people answered the poll, the survey, and the survey results, and the Q&A as well. So that's really handy too. You can also share the results if you want as a link. You can just copy that and send that to someone, and they can see all the results as well. If you want to do a clean slate, maybe you tested out a session and then you want to do it for real, and click reset session, and it'll clear all of that information. Basically, you'll still have your polls and questions, but it'll remove all the interactions that have happened on it. If I click reset, it says all poll results, survey results will be cleared. So just, you can't undo it. So only do that if you want to fully blank slate your session. So finally, I'm going to show you how to use Vevox in Canvas. So if I go into my Canvas sandbox here, I've got a Vevox unit, and I want to add in the quiz that I already just went through. So if I click plus here at item to Vevox, I'm going to select external tool and then select Vevox. It'll take a second because it's loading up your account, because remember, they're connected with the SSO. You'll see the session that I made today, the training session, comes up. You can create a session as well from here, but I would suggest that it's easier to just do it from mtu.vevox.com and then select it here. Just the easier way to do it. So I'll click that, and then I can select what I want from it. And then as I said, it makes more sense to just use the asynchronous, the surveys or quizzes stuff here, because otherwise you're asking students or participants to log in to Canvas rather than quickly going to a link or quickly scanning a QR code. So I'm going to click on the quiz. And again, I can select whether people are anonymous or identified on that. Maybe if you were doing a formative assessment, you could have identified just to gauge how people are doing on a module. I'm just going to keep it anonymous for now. Click done. And then it's added the item here. So it's just this one quiz, and you can rename it if you want. I'm going to publish it and then click into it and load up, and you won't see anything because you're the lecturer on the module. But if you click view as student and then reload the page, then there's the quiz that we made. So that's really handy to use. Then people can use that quiz as long as, remember, on the surveys tab, it's started, then people can access it and take that quiz. So that's really handy if you want to put in, a more creative, if you find the new quizzes feature in Canvas doesn't have everything you want, maybe you want to try using Vevox for quizzes, or if you want to poll students, about anything during their time on a module, you can use it for polls as well. So that's handy. And I think that's everything really, other than supports. So I'm just going to show you what supports Vevox themselves have, and then I'll show you what supports we in MTU have. So you'll notice there's this help button here. So if you click that, there's a bunch of links up here that Vevox has. So there's a getting started one. They have a help center with lots of help articles. They have a video on what's new. So when new things come out, they make videos on that. If you have any issues, you can contact them on live chat. As I mentioned, we don't have the PowerPoint add-in, so you can't use that, unfortunately. They do have videos that you can watch, and they do have regular webinars as well. I will now switch back into my presentation to show you the other supports we have. So 1 second, just switch this. Here we go. So we have help articles as well. So if I can get the link for you, I'll put them in the chat as well. So we have a bunch of help articles that show you how to use Vevox, and I'll add this video to it as well. So 1 second, do I have the link for people in the chat? Yeah, so I'm just going to share that link, and I'll also send the links to you in an email once the recording is ready. And then next, I'll show you that we have a new module that we launched last week. It's called the TEL Tool Showcase module. And this basically is showing helpful videos, instructions, and resources for Vevox, but also 2 other tools which are called H5P and ScreenPal. So I suggest that's a really good resource. And also you can access it through Canvas, which you use every day anyway. So I'll just bring the link for you to join that as well and put that in the chat. There we go. That's in the chat as well. And that will be sent out in the email for anybody watching the recording.